know, I am vintage.
A true legend joining us this week, and that is MotoGP legend Loris Capirossi.
Hi, Fran.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me.
How are we doing so far? Stressed, relaxed, all good?
Really relaxed.
Okay, great. So, like I said, it's something a little bit different because so far I think we've only had current riders this year. Those of you who've watched or listened for a while will know we have every now and then some team managers or riders from past, present, maybe some future. But legendary flavour for this special weekend. So we're not going to do the how are you. You're not in a championship fight anymore. You've left that life behind. You've got a new role now.
Yeah, right.
So we're not like, oh, how's the pressure? Maybe we'll get to that in the fan questions later.
Okay.
But talk to us then about you becoming a MotoGP legend that you are now. How did you get into riding? I guess being Italian in that era, it's something that's already very in the culture. What made you pick up a motorcycle and try and ride it for the first time? And when did you do that?
Yeah, well, I remember very well because, in Italy, the passion of motorcycle is huge, and I born really close to where I live on that time, Fausto Gresini. And my father have a big passion of motorcycle, and I go many times in Imola to watching a GP. My first time I ride in the bike is a mini bike my father building for me, because on that time we don't have the mini bike, because we're talking about 1975. And
he built it for you?
Yes, he built it for me, yeah. And the first time I use in the football area, which that mini bike, I am only 4-year-old. And I never forget that time, because we passed a lot of years. But it's the best moment of my life, to jump on what I like very much.
You still remember it that strongly? It
yes.
was like immediately like, this is
yes, because I pushing my father to build in the bike. I follow him when he building, because he modify for a normal bike, he make a smaller one.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Just make smaller. And because me and my brother is 2 years more older than me, and we start that amazing moment. And I never stop.
Well, yeah,
yep.
You never stop.
I never stop.
So from that first moment then, with your special little bike that's been specially made for you, was that a custom bike as your first
100%,
bike?
yes, cool. Yes.
So obviously then the passion was immediate for you. Yeah. How did it grow from there? Because there's a big distance to them becoming Grand Prix world champion. Yep. What's the next step for little Loris on your custom bike?
I start with that bike, but from that time I do motocross, because from 4 to 14 I do only motocross, because we live in countryside and I have my personal motocross track. And I go on the school in the morning. Soon I come back from the school, I just check a little bit, to study a little bit, to check a little bit about the school, and immediately I jump on the bike. And every day I'm running with the bike in that motocross course. And well, every day this is the most important thing for me: riding motorbike. And when I am 14, my father say, okay, maybe it's good time to start to racing in motocross. But the problem is, in that time, when I am 13, 14-year-old, I ride 250 or 500 bike on motocross course, And he say, in your age, you have to start with mini bike. I say, mini bike? I am not interested to start with mini bike. This is why I start to be interesting more on road racing,
Really? That's interesting.
Yes. And my father say, okay, we have a trophy, Italian trophy this year with Honda, and we try to do that. And I start with that. And I never forget my first time on the track. It's 1987 in Italian track is Magione.
So for people who know your career after that, that's really close to when you become a global sensation.
Yep.
So 87 then, sorry, carry on.
No, 87. I never ride road racing on track, never. Because I am only 14, and not allowed to ride on the road, because I go on my first race just 2 days after I go with 14, And okay, I start to make it. My first lap is a little bit wet, the track, but I don't know, because motocross, wet or dry, is not change a lot, Okay, I do corner 1 is right, And when I do left, I crash. My second corner, my first time on the track. Well, I keep up the bike and I go quickly on the pit again. And I say to my dad, hey, I crash. Why you crash? I don't know. I don't have grip. I don't feel nothing the bike. Okay, don't worry, because it's a little bit, go again. And well, I started, and that race, my first race ever, I finished 6th.
It's not a bad start, yeah?
I think it's not bad, not bad.
But I mean, so your start in the World Championship will be incredible. So how do we go then? First race, 6th, mystical crash at turn 2 when it's a bit wet. So what was the first then full championship? How do you go from there to then World Championship level? Because I think now there's a lot more structure to how riders arrive here.
Yeah, but you know, on that time I do trophy on 87. 88 I do Italian champion, and 89 European champion. On that time, the European champion is like quite nice because we go around Europe, around the 12 race, you know. I start to learn myself. But when I have opportunity to race on the world champion, because on that time the rules say the top 3 rider finish in the European champion is allowed to go in the world champion. But on that year, 89, the problem of my style is all or nothing, and I crash a lot of time in European champion, and I finish 4 in the champion, and he's not allowed to go on the world champion to finish out of the top 3. But the most of race I win or I crash, and the federation give to me the opportunity. He say, okay, we give the opportunity to you to go on the world champion. And from that time it start really my dream, you know, because I come from really normal family. My family is like normal one. We don't have a lot of money, and on that time to pay racing, my father working a lot. I working too to find some money to help him in. But when I have opportunity to go to the world champion, Pileri called me. On that time, the team Pileri is the most important team in Italy, you know. And they say, okay, we give the opportunity to do all world champion, and we give also the salary to you.
That's a big change.
That's big change. Okay, the salary is not really big. To change from lira to euro is around, it's 500 euro a month, but for me it's fine. And I remember my chief mechanic, because also this story is nice, because the test in Jerez, we have to go to Jerez to make the first test. And when I go to the airport, the first time I keep the flight, because all race in Europe I do by car with my father. And I go there in the airport and I have the passport expired. And I don't do the test.
Oh, no.
I fly directly to Japan to do the first race.
Classic.
Yes, like that, you know. And my chief mechanic, Mario Carriotti, he say, hey Loris, don't worry in case you don't qualify in Japan, because Japan is difficult track. We have a lot of Japanese weak car. What is it? What? I don't qualify. Why we go there? You think I don't do the qualification? But honestly, I still have the paper of my first qualification in Japan. I do 26 in qualifying, like you said before, and the race finished 6th. From that time, I start to growing, you know.
Well, yeah, talk us through where it goes from that first race, then qualifying 26th.
Yep.
Because, like I said to you before we started recording, I think a lot of people will remember, we've got a spider guest on our table. A lot of people will remember that you won 2 back-to-back,
yep.
But maybe some don't realise that you came straight in as a rookie and became the new star of the championship.
Yeah.
Talk us through that experience. Going from, so the first year you earned a salary as a motorcycle rider,
yep.
is also the first year you became world champion.
Yeah.
That's quite special.
This is really special, because also I don't have any expectation about that, you know, because I go there to make my experience.
Were you expected to qualify? You see,
exactly. The first race, because my chief mechanic say, hey, maybe you don't qualify the first one. And, you know, but I think it's because on that season, Fausto Gresini is my teammate, is riding for the factory on the bike. And I have like standard bike, which on the kit, you know. And Fausto in Misano, he have big crash during the practice and he have injury on his leg. and Honda decide to give to me his bike. And when he gave to me the bike of Fausto, immediately I win the race. I start to win. And Honda say, okay, also when Fausto come back, we can leave Loris, the factory bike, and we can give another one to Fausto. But I start to dreaming, because always, every race, I fighting for the victory, fighting for the podium, but I don't expect really that, But I don't really thinking on that time about the world champion. I just thinking to enjoy the race, enjoy the weekend, to relax maximum I can. But when we go close to the end of the season, I see I have opportunity, But well, when I arrive Phillip Island, last race of the season, I am behind on the champion, which I fighting with Hans Pan and Stefan Prain on that time. But the last race is amazing, Phillip Island, because the night before race, I don't sleep 1 second, because I am really, really nervous, because I know I have a great opportunity to be the younger world champion on the first season, like rookie, but I know it's difficult. And well, the dream come true, because on the Sunday we have a big number of Italian riders helping me on that time, because we have a good race, especially Fausto, because Fausto fighting a lot with Stefan Prain. And after the flag, I be world champion, But still now I cannot believe that moment, because it's changed my life a lot.
I can imagine, especially from don't worry if you don't qualify, to then a sleepless night before fighting for and winning World Championship. So then, okay, so we're going into the next year then, you do it again, then you move up. Talk us through these next stages of your career. So we've got a few good milestones to come before we're anywhere near.
Well, like you say, the year after, I win again 125, and I decide to move to 250. The first season in 250, I am two-time world champion, but I start the season with a standard bike, with a kit, not the factory bike, and I struggle a lot on the first season, but I do some good result. 93, I have factory bike from Honda, and I am really strong, but I lose the champion because I am crazy, because I crash a lot. I can
tell you now, that will be the title quote of this episode. I lost that title because I was crazy.
Well, the problem is I don't reflect never. I just go inside of the track and I try to do my best. My best is to be minimum on the podium or crash. And most of the time I crash, because that champion, 93, I lose the world champion, because he rather beat me in the end of the season. But, with some less mistake, I am easy world champion. 94, same again, because I start the season with really good confidence, because the year before I go close to be world champion on 250, say it's easy, and again, win, crash, win, crash, and again I lose the champion another time, But Pileri say, my team manager on that time, say, okay, it's good time to go on 500, but I am really young on that time, and the team don't have any experience about 500 bike, but say, okay, to go 500, you're really young, with Honda, we go. Again, when I jump on the bike, like amazing, the 500 bike is one of my favorite bike ever, On the first test in Jerez.
You made it to the Jerez test this time.
The first test I did, I made it. I go there. I enjoy a lot the 500 bike, but just the last day I make a big crash to connect to the last one, the faster one, and I wake up in the hospital. I say, well, what happened? Hey, Loris, you crashed there. And it started like that, my season in 500. But during the season, I start to go well. On the last race, I do my first podium in 500. I do one pole position in Nürburgring, yes, on the Friday. And after the season, I move myself to America. I go to live in California on Wayne Rainer house, because I moved from Honda to Yamaha. Also, that season is tough, but I learned a lot about training. I learned a lot from Wayne. He's been really good teacher for me. And also that season is a little bit tough. We do a lot of podium. On the last race, I win the last race in Astor Creek in Australia. But I have good offer from Aprilia to go back in 250. And I think a lot about that, and I decided to go back into 50.
What was it that made that decision?
Because I never win world champion on 250, always I am close, and I have good opportunity to go back into 50 with the best bike on that time, because Aprilia is one of the best bike on that time. And I say, okay, I can keep that challenge. And I go back 97 to 250, but 97 is one of my worst season in the world champion. And in the middle, not middle, after, you know, 3/4 of the champion, I spoke with Bernard, because he's the team manager of Aprilia at that time, and I say to him, hey, Carlo, because I have a 2-year contract with Aprilia, 3-year contract, sorry. And I say to Carlo, well, this year is so tough, I have a lot of problems with the bike, I don't enjoy, I want to stop in race. I want to stop in race.
Wow, really? It was
Yes.
that much of a...
Yes. And Carlo say, hey, Loris, don't say like that. We have to find solution. I have good solution for you for next year. I can change the team. I can give to you Noccioli. Noccioli is the team win on 97, the world champion with Valentino, the same team. So I give Mauro Noccioli to you, and you can see come better. I am not sure, I say to them in that moment. I think, and I say, okay, we try again. And 98 is different, because the bike is better, the team is good, and I'm fighting for the title until Argentina race. When?
What happened?
What happened? This is nice, because we're talking about around 30 years ago, and any time we have some accident on the track, all journalists say, Loris on 98, which are in Argentina. Okay, always we talking about that. But that moment, I say, last lap, I am first. In the beginning of last lap, I make mistake on turn 3 on Buenos Aires track. I nearly lose the front, and I go second behind Valentino. And I know Arada is behind me, and for sure I prefer to be behind him, and I leave him to pass me. And I know I have to try to attack him in the last part of the track. And Arada, Tetsuya brake quite late to the last corner, but he brake quite, you know, stay really large. The line is really open, you know, and I see the possibility to go in. And I go in, and we have contact with him, you know. He crash, I don't crash, and I win the world champion. But for sure, on that moment is because the friendship with Tetsuya is really good until that time, and Tetsuya for sure is coming really angry about that overtaking. But I want to say, a couple years later, not many, 2 years later, we start to growing again the relation with Tetsuya, and right now is one of my best friends. He still lives in Monte Carlo, and he have 2 daughters. I have 1 boy. It's the same age, and we see each other minimum 1 time a week, and we have really good relations.
Everyone can stay calm.
No.
They watch that race back.
Yeah.
In the end.
No, but I thinking the racing is racing, but we are woman. You know, you are a good boy, and we understand. The past is past, and now we live in different story. But now we don't thinking about anymore about that.
So okay, we've dealt with the dramatic chapter there.
Yeah.
But that's obviously, you've still got quite a lot of career that's going to come after that. Talk us through then, from then on, you've got that championship.
Yep.
Where do we go from there? Because you're going to make a little bit more history as well in MotoGP.
Yeah, because in 1999 I ride for Honda, for Gresini team. And also that season is quite good, because we win some race, we do a quite good champion. In the end of the season, I decided to go back again in 500, and I signed.
That's the last year of 500s then?
No, this is 2000.
Yeah.
2000. I signed with Sito Pons with 500, and I do 2000, and I win the race in Mugello with Sito. 2001. And 2002. 2002 is I still riding 500, but we have already the era of MotoGP, And that season is tough because to fighting with MotoGP is not easy because the 500 is really good bike. Some track is fast because I do 2 podium in that season, but the MotoGP is faster. And in the end of 2002, I signed for Ducati. This is a big challenger again because Ducati make the presentation of the bike in Mugello 2002, and I go to the presentation to see the bike, to understand what is the plan for Ducati, and Ducati tried to contact many rider in the world champion. But I'm thinking I am the first say yes to jump on that new challenger, because I think it's not many people believe a lot on that project, you know, because Ducati for sure is the big hero on superbike, but the first time in MotoGP, and especially he come in MotoGP when everybody already have 1 year experience on MotoGP. But when I tested the bike in the end of 2002 in Valencia, I already enjoyed, because this is the really first time I use 4-stroke bike, never tested before.
So I'm going to say it's interesting because it's new for you as well, going from a 500.
Exactly, new for me. But the first test in Valencia, we did 2-day test. We changed 4 different chassis because the bike shaking on the straight like a snake, like that. The power is amazing, but the bike is really, the chassis is really soft. And we changed 3-4 chassis during the weekend, and we start from that time to grow in the bike. I never forget again the IRTA test we did in Barcelona in the winter. I did the pole position. I am the quicker. After a big crash just 1 hour before the time attack, I destroyed the bike and I used the bike number 2. Because on that time with Ducati we have some small problem of leak the oil from the engine everywhere, because this new project, and this is make me and Troy trouble that season. But it's an amazing season. First one for Ducati, my first one in MotoGP. We win the race in Barcelona. We do a lot of podium. I finished third on the first race in Suzuki with that bike. And from there, we did 2004, new bike, really quick, but unrideable. 2004, unrideable, just quick on the straight.
That was brutal honesty there.
Yeah, it's brutal, that bike, because we did the record of 229 on 2004. We say in, we did the 349 in Barcelona during the winter test on 2004. And this means the bike is really quick on the straight, but in the corner a little bit less. And we struggled a lot on the season, and 2005 we get again the good bike, and we arrived 2006, where I fighting again for the title in MotoGP. The bike is really good. I really enjoyed that bike. We changed on 2005 from Michelin to Bridgestone on the time, and our level on 2006 I think is the best evolution of Ducati on that time. And the bike is nice, and I fighting a lot for the title. I arrive in the middle of the champion in Barcelona, lead the champion. In Barcelona I have a big crash, huge crash, causing for the contact with Gipernau, with Melandri come to me,
really
the big
dramatic.
One. Yeah. And I lose nearly 2 races. And I come back, I try again to keep point, to re-race, and in the end I lose the champion for 24 points. But it's fine anyway, I enjoy a lot my life, I enjoy a lot everything, but to have opportunity to fighting until the end for the title of MotoGP, this is it's been really good, but I am happy anyway. And 2007, we go to 1,000 to 800, and I struggle a lot with the bike. I can ride, and my teammate on that time is Casey Stoner, is amazing talent rider, and in his first season with Ducati, he win the world champion. And I did not really bad the season, because I win 1 race, I do 2 seconds, 3 third, and many times I'm top 5, top 6. But the comparison between me and him is world champion, and me I don't know, I finished 4 or 6 and the champion, Ducati decide to change the rider, the second rider, and he decided to sign with Melandri. And I moved to Suzuki. And with Suzuki, I did 8, 9, and 10 with Suzuki. Unfortunately, the bike is not massive competitive on that time, but I did 1 podium with them. But the ambience inside is great. Suzuki people is so nice. I have really good remember about that time. And my last season, 2011.
Which seems crazy when you won your first one in like 1990, yeah? This
Yes.
is some career.
Yeah, the career is really long. 1990, we are 2011. It's long, long time, you know. And 2011, my last season, I did with Ducati, again 800 with Pramac. And apart 2004, 2011, again Ducati on that time, because Ducati signed in the end of 2010 with Valentino for 11 and 12. And I say, wow, Ducati signed with Valentino, for sure they built a really good bike for him. But in the end, 2011 bike is not really good. Not really good. It's really strange bike. And the season I struggle, I do some good result, but never some important result. And in the middle of the season, especially in Assen, when I did turn, I think 7, a really big eyesight, and I fly. When I fly, I say, maybe Loris is a good time to stop in racing. I crash and the bike coming over to me. When I am under the bike, say, okay, this is my last season. And I spoke with my family, I spoke with the team, and I say, in Misano, I make the press conference, say, stop your race after that crash. But, you know, everybody know about the story about 2011, because we have in Sepang, when we have a big accident of Marco Simoncelli when he lost his life. And my last race in Valencia is, I think, after 329 racing in the World Champion, is the harder one of my life, because you know it's your last one, and you want to finish soon you can, you know, to just change your life. But after that decision, is the worst moment is the first race of 2012.
When you're not on the grid.
Not on the grid.
You're watching it.
Yes, on Qatar, I am on the grid. I'm watching a rider behind me. Wow, at that moment, after 22 seasons, is really emotional, really, really hard. I say, wow. But still now, it's many years later, I am happy and proud about that decision.
I mean, you seem like you're happy and proud in the best way about all of those achievements. There's no like, oh, but
no,
some things now that you can look back and laugh at slightly. There's things where...
No, I think, you know, I am proud of my really long career. I do a lot of mistakes, but in case I have, you know, the opportunity to change something, to be maybe 5-time world champion, not only 3, I don't change nothing, because I'm happy about that. I learn a lot in my life.
Do you still do the win or bin mentality in life, or have you?
Any sport I do, I want to be on the front, always.
Yeah, I think that's good. So, okay, we'll end there with the legendary tales of Loris, but now we have a few fun questions for you.
Right.
From our Estrella Galicia 00 fun facts. I like how that's always in capital letters for those of you who are watching rather than listening. Fun facts with Loris Capirossi. So I gave you a spoiler of a couple of these questions earlier, and you know that they're not too bad. So the first one then, from Mulgrews Media. I think these are off Instagram, they are. If you could bring back one livery this weekend, which one would it be? So everyone obviously racing in vintage colours.
Yeah, I think it's my Ducati 2003.
Really?
Yep.
I think you might be in luck, but no spoilers. So that would be cool.
I don't know. We see.
So, and then we have one from Andrew Boveda, unsure where you're from, sorry Andrew, 96. Which is your favourite race of all time that you raced in? Now, don't break Harada's heart and say that one.
No, well, my career is really long, but I think my best season is not when I win the world champion, but 2006.
So, do you have one race that you really?
Sepang 2005. Yes.
Oh, that's cool, interesting. And we already got your best moment of your life was the first time you rode your little custom bike.
Yes,
so
yes.
We love that. From ER_N.N. It's an unpronounceable username. Who was the strongest and toughest for you to race with?
Well, easy to say Valentino Rossi because I raced with him for many seasons. But I think Doriano Romboni in 250.
Really? I love it when people have not necessarily the most famous or with the most wins, or there's just something about that rivalry in the best way that's like
exactly.
that guy.
Yeah.
So the final one then, going on to your career now, how much from B the 29, maybe an Ian Ono fan, unsure. How much pressure do you feel taking crucial decisions for MotoGP safety? So
a lot of pressure because sometimes we have to say it's time to put the green flag, but sometimes we scare also, it's difficult.
We see you heading out in the car quite often.
Yeah. Especially when we have some crash and we have oil on the track, we have to understand the condition of the track to say, okay, it's green again. This is tough.
Is it a different kind of pressure? Would you call it pressure, or would you say it's something different?
Yeah, but that pressure is difficult because somebody else go on the track. I don't go on the track. This is the decision you make for somebody else.
Interesting. Okay, well, on that slightly strange note after that, Loris, thank you so much for joining us on MotoGP Podcast Last on the Brakes. We've tried to victimize you several times in the past.
Thank you very much.
Finally, you've given in.
Yeah, no, thank you, Fran.
It was a pleasure.
For me, same.
Enjoy the vintage liveries. Hopefully
we see what happens this weekend.
Exactly, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, thank you for letting us have some truly epic moments throughout your racing career. Like I said, I watched a few of them back earlier this year when we did a deep dive into some 250 races, the drama. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fran. Thank you to all.
Thanks everyone for watching and listening.
It's round 9 of the 2024 MotoGP World Championship, coming from the spectacular